Hey everybody, this is Dave Tribbett here with a V3Connect focus on the community interview. Today I'm here with Julie Niles-Fry of Bicoastal Media, and Julie helps her clients around the space of marketing and strategy. Just super excited to be here with you today, Julie. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do there at Bicoastal Media?
Well, at Bicoastal, I have a variety of activities that I do. One is helping companies strategize their marketing plans especially now in the era of COVID, that there's a lot of dynamics that have changed. And so sometimes that is a great time to start a conversation about strategizing. And we've learned to make some quick adjustments, right? And so it's a good time to take a look at strategy for your business, where you're going, and then also how to address changes really quickly. How can we pivot? How can we expand? How can we grow in a time like this? And then the other thing is to utilize media and the other resources we have at Bicoastal Media, of course, utilizing digital through New Wave Digital Solutions, which is an entire digital platform, and educating the client on that. Is digital right for them? Is it a good move for them? Is traditional media, which is not really so traditional anymore, because now radio stations, of course, are streamed, and they have been for years, streamed online. So many of our listeners are actually online listeners, not over the airwaves in the car. So building presence for them in a variety of ways, whether that's through commercials or whether that's through a promotion or a sponsorship or program development to create awareness. Right now I'm doing something called the Coalition to Keep Kids Safe, and that will be going up on air in August. And so I brought together the coalition of youth organizations, nonprofits, CASA, Hearts with a Mission, Maslow Project, Family Nurturing Center, and Children's Center together to create a Children's Advocacy Center, I should say.
Wow, that's
to
amazing.
Create a dynamic, and we're going to do a donation drive, but we're going to do a coalition drive, and we're going to educate the listener and Southern Oregon about the different organizations, how they're impacted, how are the kids impacted, how are we going to keep these services going, and of course give people an opportunity to donate so that they can stay afloat.
If we could jump back for just a second there, I'm so curious about something that you were saying in the strategy of businesses when right now it's kind of a time of crisis for a lot of them. What are some of the, like if you had 2 or 3 top things that you're really focusing on with some of that strategy that you're hearing that may be beneficial to the individuals who listen to or watch this video?
Well, today business is interesting because while many people are at home shopping on their phones, a lot of Southern Oregon is not accessible online. So that's one thing for businesses to consider when we talk about strategy. The online shopping experience is not going to stop, right? And in fact, it's become more indelible in our futures and we're getting to practice a lot of it now. Yeah. And I think that local businesses would be wise to get online. Okay. Yeah. We can do pickup. We're finding out that we can order at the grocery store, swing into the parking lot, do pickup. Those things are very possible with businesses. So that's one thing that COVID has brought to light, is maybe how unprepared businesses were for something that they could have prepared for, but it just wasn't necessary at the time. Well, now it's necessary. Yeah. Well, another thing is the pivoting. When, let's say we worked in a store that only sold shirts predominantly. Let's say 80% of your business or 60% of your business was shirts. Well, in a time like this, we might discover that shirts, for instance, might be hard to get, or maybe the favorite colors or the favorite styles, there's a huge push on them because now everybody's at home ordering them. And so our supply chains are broken for that. Mm-hmm. I challenge the businesses to look around their business and see alternative measures or alternative products that could be featured And I'm using the shirt example because there's a few businesses I'm working with right now that instead of pivoting fully, all of a sudden going from a company that manufactures hard goods to making hand sanitizer for the emergency, that's a full pivot.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of people have only to move a couple feet within their businesses and look that direction to say, oh, wait a minute, you know what? Because this wasn't my prominent line, I haven't really focused in on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about that line? And can we bring that one to light, and do a little research, find out who's buying that product? Easy enough, right? Google whatever it is. Let's say it's wallets. Google whatever it is. Who's buying wallets? Where are they buying wallets? What kind of wallets are they buying? And begin to say, wow, you know what? I've got 10 grand in wallets sitting here. I really need to move that, and I need to create the need. So that's been an exciting part about strategy, that one place our business did before, one thing that it specialized in before, isn't necessarily what we get to do now. So we don't have to fully pivot. We can actually just kind of swing and look to our existing inventory to put together a promotion, a program, an offering, taking it a different milestone. Maybe it's not just local. Maybe it's going to go online across the world, shipping across the world. And those things are readily and easily able to get up and running today, as you probably well know, Dave. eBay accounts and Shipmasters and all those things, very easy.
Yeah. I love what you were sharing there, because, and what I was going to say, and I wasn't trying to interrupt you, is that one, there was always the question when I would talk to businesses and stuff that, why isn't good enough good enough? The way that we've been doing business. But the companies right now that were already starting to move in the direction of where business was going to be in the future with e-commerce and distance educational offerings and stuff. I did that interview with Daryl Griggs, and he was already starting to pivot to online, like virtual trainings and teaching and stuff like that. So you had a very small reset period, maybe 5 to 7 days, and then you were able to shift into that new space that you were just talking about. I absolutely love that. And unfortunately, the ones that don't, and it breaks my heart, is the Darwinian theory of business is evolve or die.
Yeah.
And it's very, very difficult. So
I think sometimes we just don't know how. I've talked to a lot of businesses that are just, that's not my specialty. I never thought I needed, just like 10 years ago, the whole website thing. I don't know how to do a website. I don't know how to get it up. What is content? What are pixels? What are JPEGs and pings and GIFs? And, so what are all of these things? And why do I have to learn that? I don't want to learn that, right? I want to do X. And so it's for those businesses that I say, contact me, because there's lots of smart people out there that can do these things. The key is to get that strategy down first. And in a presentation I made last night, we were talking about tactics versus strategy. So in order to employ a tactic, and the tactic could be use of social media, or the tactic could be use of radio or TV, or a promotional company, something like that. Those are tactics, but we don't employ the tactic until we have the strategy down. So why are we doing it? And what would we expect out of it? Because advertising, some people say it's the necessary evil, but when we're looking at, 8% of our budget on average, 7 to 8% should be in the form of marketing. It should not be an expenditure. It's designed to be a return on investment. So a lot of people are like, well, I'll just throw this money out every month. Well, no, we don't ever want to throw money out every month. We want to make sure that whatever tactic we're using is bringing return on investment. That can't come just from saying, oh, well, let's give this a whirl. No, let's
Great.
back up. Let's look at your strategy. Let's look how we can employ different tactics. Maybe one tactic's going to work. Maybe five are going to work. But it's the compilation that we got to head for.
What kind of, have you had to develop new type of strategy? What kind of, if any, what kind of new strategies have you developed, or maybe technologies have you come to use in this time with the work that you're doing?
Well, I think we've all used a lot more Zoom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's the reality of life right now. If we want to be able to engage together instead of, as I say, play ping pong, I say something, then you say something, and I say, but now we get to
Yeah.
engage because we're both here
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So there's that technology. Our technologies, as far as production and things like that, have not changed. Although we can't have people into our studios to do those live interviews or to voice their commercials. So I've had to go out and I record people. Some people have utilized their phones to do their commercials,
Mm.
and then they send me. I'll write them a script and
Yeah.
we'll practice it, and then they'll record it right on their iPhone and they'll send it to me, and it'll sound really good. And of course, we have a
Nice.
few technology tweaks in the
Yeah.
studio that we can do to maybe remove any background noise or things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that
That's
has been a
working
little
well.
bit of an adjustment.
Is that working well for a lot of individuals? I mean, if you were to kind of balance out those interactions for that live stuff, I mean, is it a substantial amount of individuals, would you say, with your clients that are utilizing recording their own video and then sending that kind of stuff to you?
Yeah, no, we don't do video on
Oh,
our
audio.
stations, right?
Okay. Audio. Okay.
So yeah, so for the audio, I can come with a studio recording device
Okay.
and record. A few of the commercials that my clients have put out, though, have sounded really great over their phone, and I guess it
Nice.
depends on the model, but they've sounded really good.
Yeah.
And so again, dealing with the situation that people don't have as many employees in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Employers just can't leave their building at any time, right? Because they're back into being the workforce. They may not have the position where they're doing the things that they used to do before. So it's a convenience for them.
Nice.
Actually, to not have to travel, and they just don't have those luxuries, and we
Yeah.
understand that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I guess it was a silly assumption that, so you have the standard services, radio that everybody knows and loves and kind of grew up with. But maybe I was kind of maybe assuming that you also have digital services as well, right?
We
With it.
do. So,
So
yeah.
what do the digital services look like? Is that just audio only as well?
Yeah, so there are a variety of services you can do. Of course, streaming. Streaming started many years ago, and so many of the stores you walk in around Southern Oregon, and if you go to Dollar General, right, you'll always hear Cool or Q or one of the stations. So they play that digitally. You just turn on your computer, go to the radio station, and hit listen live. Or what I like to do is turn on my TV, my smart TV, and pull it up, because my stereo speakers are really good on my TV, right? So, so there's a lot of different ways. And so in streaming, that's a huge market right there. Then we have our broadcast, which is, of course, catching us in our cars or maybe at home. A lot of people still have radios, believe it or not. And so that's an option. And then we also have our digital services that are going to be your custom audience targeting or your geofencing or your SEO or what we call search engine marketing opportunities as well. And that's provided through New Wave Digital Solutions, which is owned by Bicoastal Media. So that's a full digital company. Yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful. I appreciate you sharing that. Now, I think that both of us, for a little bit of a pivot, because so many people are using that word right now, if you
Yeah.
will, both of us are transplants. We're not native Oregonians. How long have you lived in this area, and what does it look like for your community connections and maybe like nonprofit work and stuff? What kind of stuff do you do in the area, and where'd you move from? How long have you been here?
Well, we've been here 18 years. And so it'll be, well, I guess it is. It's 18 years this year. And we raised our son here. He got here when he was about 3.5. And so I've done a lot in our town of Rogue River, a lot of volunteering or program creation or development to raise money for schools or bring to, Rooster Crow to life or just a lot of different things that when you live in a small town, you can definitely get knee deep. Well, let's say waist deep, maybe, chest deep in volunteering. It's so much fun to bring things to the community that are beneficial and enjoyable. So currently what I'm working on with a nonprofit is the Coalition to Keep Kids Safe. I was talking to Jennifer from CASA, and she's the executive director, and she told me that with COVID, this was a couple months ago, with COVID, they didn't know what they were going to do. They were going to lose almost $100,000 or more just because they could not have the events that all of these nonprofits had planned for. And I said, oh my gosh, well, what are you going to do? Because CASA is, of course, court-appointed advocates for youth who need them. And she says, we don't know. And so then I talked to Kevin from Hearts with a Mission. What are you going to do? We don't know. So what I did was put built a coalition, and actually CASA came up with that name. I really like it, coalition. And it is CASA and Hearts with a Mission and Maslow Project and the Children's Advocacy Center and the, now I lost it. The friend, Bobby Abernathy is with them. And they all work in tandem together somehow, even though they're separate and they focus on different demographics, they still come together in terms of that child will go over there sometimes, that one will go over here. So they're all work in tandem over time. So I said, well, why don't we just do a donation drive for all of you together? Yeah. Because we have to keep the whole coalition working.
When does that program kick off?
That program is in the works right now. We're hoping for August 3rd, but it may be more on the August 12th side. So it's coming up here pretty quick, and you'll be hearing it on all of our radio stations. You'll be hearing it on streaming, and you'll also be seeing it on all of our websites and also on all of our Facebook pages. So when you talk about digital and outreach, we have a lot of followers on our Facebook pages. So that's going to be good.
Can you get me some links and some information that I'll be happy to share with everybody?
Oh, that would be great.
On that program.
Yeah.
Now, I had first met you because you had donated some time to the emergency preparedness fair that we had here. It's the first time I had met you in person. And but I had heard people talk about you before because of how much you do in the community and everything. If somebody wanted to connect with you, reach out to you, learn about the strategy, how they might be able to help how you can help their organization or help their business, how can they best get a hold of you, Julie?
Well, my phone number is 541-282-4795. And in radio, we repeat that 3 times, but I'll only repeat it once. 541-282-4795. And my email is Julie Niles-Fry, all spelled out, at bicoastal.media.
Perfect.
So you can email me, you can call me, you can find me on Facebook, all of those good things. Oh, and another nonprofit I want to throw in there is 2 more. The Rogue Valley Emergency Fair is going virtual this year. It's going to be through Jackson County Library System we're going to have that. It's going to be great. And then Lemonade Day is coming up. So we're going to be bringing that project to you through the Chamber of Commerce.
Now, I heard about Lemonade Day. I was asked to be involved in that, but I didn't hear anything since COVID. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yes.
If we could take just like about 2 minutes or so in this difficult time for our community, the business organizations, if you could have like some words of encouragement for the organizations and stuff like that, what are some thoughts that you would share for our community?
Well, I'm always an optimist. So it's, I always I don't know, when people are down, I was like, the people in 1918, life went on after 1918. So we have to think that way.
Hmm.
But sometimes we just get stuck right now, right?
Hmm.
And it's just like everything I'm trying is not working. Maybe you just need somebody to talk to about it, or maybe you just need a different perspective and you just maybe need to get out of the seat you're sitting in. And so give
Hmm.
me a call.
Hmm.
If business is hard and it's not working, it doesn't mean you have to pay me to sit there and talk to you. I mean, we can just maybe strategize on something you can do that costs you nothing.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. So
Yeah.
I'm always happy to help. But
Yeah.
I think that if there's one word of encouragement, it's maybe not feel so focused in one direction, but maybe start spreading that view around the store or around the business and see where we might be able to capitalize or discover some new solutions. And really, how exciting would that be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and I can personally attest to the fact that not only are you amazingly talented with the work that you do, but you also are a connector, because we've talked several times, and you're like, well, I think this person can help, and I think that person can help. So
Yes.
absolutely love that about our conversations and the time that we've had in conversations, kind of getting to know each other and serving the
Yeah,
community. So that's been
for
great.
sure.
Well, everybody, I greatly appreciate your time today in watching this V3 Connect focus on the community. It was really, really great being with you today, Julie. And
Thank you.
everybody, stay tuned for other good interviews, and also connect with Julie via her phone number and her email through Bicoastal Media. Thanks for your time today. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.